Welcome to the Alcohol Free Life podcast, brought to you by thesoberclub.com. I'm Janey Grace. This is for you if you've quit the booze or you'd like to, or maybe you're just sober curious. I'll bring you tips and motivation without any judgment, and there'll be inspiration from experts, quit-lit authors, and sober heroes. Hi, and welcome to the podcast. I hope you're well. There's even a glimmer of sunshine, I swear. Things are looking up. It's my birthday next week, and I'm actually going to Cornwall. I've been talking about it for so long, and it's time. It's really time. I really hope you've had a good week. We had a fantastic family constellations session. It really was just it's mind-blowing stuff. It really is. And you've heard me say that a lot, but the next time we put one in place, try and come, because it's it's really incredible. My big news this week is that the price for the Sober Club is rising. I'm sorry to have to do this, but it's only for new members. So if you're already a member, then you get to stay. And if you haven't joined us yet, but you have been thinking of joining us, then getting now. You've got like a couple of days. But this weekend, the price is rising. We haven't put the price up for 4.5 years, and it's only going up a bit, but get in now, and then you won't even have to cough that. It's incredible value. I mean, I know I would say that, wouldn't I? But it really, really is. Have a look at some of the testimonials, and you can just join us for a month, and then leave if you don't like it. But most people find if they are interested in well-being, then it's just got everything there. And I know I'm really lucky because I've got access to so many amazing experts. So it's not just me. We have incredible experts and some wonderful well-being content and a huge library of stuff and an online course and regular Zoom meetups and our private group, which is completely non-judgmental. And, we kind of cover all the bases. So that's my big plug this week, thesoberclub.com. Come and join us at the current rate, and, just get in now before the price rises. It's only going up a few quid, but if you've been thinking about it, then get in now. We do have members who are early days. They're just kind of thinking about, shall I ditch the booze? What shall I do? And then we've got members who've been sober for 10 years, because it's never only about not drinking. Of course, that has to be the foundational piece, but then it's about the everything else. It's about up-leveling your well-being and your approach, finding your purpose, finding your balance. It's, we just do so much in the club. And I mean, I love it as much as everyone else because I feel held too. We become cheerleaders for each other, and whatever we've got going on, we can bring it there, and we get support. We're a completely disparate group, of course, all over the world, and men and women, but we have this shared common thing, and I think it's just so important, isn't it? The power of connection and community. And if that's not for you, by the way, then that's fine. Just carry on listening to the podcast. I'll always do the podcasts, and I will never charge for them as long as I've got great guests. I'll carry on. And if you did want to support the work a different way, then you can follow me on Substack. You can be a paid subscriber on Substack, or you can go to buy me a coffee /Janey Lee Grace and buy me a coffee. But of course, I'd rather have one in person, so if we can meet up, mine will be a flat white. So that's my little plugs out of the way. But of course, there's loads of other ways you can connect. It's not just the Sober Club. I get that completely. There's loads of ways you can make connection, but do make connection. Actually, I had a lovely message from Craig, who has a CIC, and they have a community which offers free walks and talks and various bits and bobs, for people who are in recovery, as he puts it on his message. So follow them at sober_camp. Sober_camp, if you want to be part of that community. There's always so many options, but as I say, if you really want to level up, think about your nutrition and meditation and that sense of community, that sense of finding your purpose, if you want to dig deep into the neuroscience of it all. We've got some amazing exclusive content with William Porter in our member portal. We've got stuff around journaling and writing with Claire Pooley. We've got meditation with John Siddiqui. We've got a movement medicine session with an amazing shaman. It's all there. So if that's your thing, come and join us, and join us now before the price rises. And then once you're in, you're in. The price doesn't change for existing members. It's just the price for new members is going up over this weekend, basically. So what else have I got to share with you apart from my little plug? Well, let's see. You're going to love this week's guest, because I thought, as I'm focusing on the Sober Club this weekend, let's have a member share her story. And, really, I just absolutely I love this. I love it when people just kind of go, oh my God, look how my life has changed. And so I invited Miranda to share her story, and I really hope you'll enjoy that. And at first, Miranda said, well, it's nothing that exciting, I don't know if I'm interesting enough. Well, you know what? Everybody's interesting. And to me, it just never ceases to amaze me how wonderful the changes are when people quit alcohol. And, for some people, the changes are huge. They end up going and doing things they never would have dreamt of doing. They become completely different people. Other people, the changes are really, really subtle, but they know they're different. They become authentic. They have that sense of peace. And it's just absolutely, it's incredible, isn't it? It's so absolutely invaluable, really. It really is. So I really hope you enjoy that interview with Miranda. Ahead of that, we're talking about connection and community. And whether you're a member or not, I really want you to come to our event. It's low cost. It's at Club Soda in London, Tuesday, 18th of March. I know it's a school night and all, but come if you can, because they're such lovely events where people just can hang out in an alcohol-free bar, just surrounded by all manner of incredible drinks, every type of alcohol-free drink you can imagine. Plus, stuff that isn't in inverted commas, replacement. So you've got things like Jimber, lovely fiery ginger and amazing artisan tonics. And it's just a real vibe to be there. And there'll be a whole bunch of people. And it really is fine if you come on your own. It's honestly fine. I've had people in the past say, actually, I'm really nervous. And actually, I was, when I went to my very first sober event, I was convinced that, I don't know, I suppose I thought, I don't know what I thought, that everyone was going to be very weird. No, of course they're not. They're absolutely lovely. Sober people are lovely. They're the best. So you're very welcome to come on your own. Just drop me a message and make sure that we know you're coming, and we'll welcome you. We'll send out a welcome party. But it's a very small venue, and you really do get to meet some lovely people. It's a really nice atmosphere. I've got a couple of guests lined up. I'm going to be chatting to Sam Delaney, who I've had on the podcast before. He's got a great new book out called, wait for it, Stop Shitting Yourself. I mean, you can't get clearer, really, can you? So I think we know what that one's going to be about. Sam's an amazing advocate for mental health and wellbeing. So I'm going to chat to Sam. Also, Helen from Sober AF Dating. Now, this is an area that, oh my God, thank God. I'm so grateful. I don't have to get involved in that right now. Very grateful. But it's a thing, isn't it? It's important. And I know that there's lots of people, whether that's, because you're young and you're in the dating market, or maybe you're a bit older and you're going around the block again another time. And it's a really interesting one. Do you put a profile out there saying you will only date non-drinkers? Do you make sure you never go to pubs, or do you just not say anything? What do we do? So we're going to navigate a little bit of that, and there could well be some very special guests as well to be announced. So come and join us. It's Tuesday, the 18th of March at Club Soda. So to get your tickets, if you go to thesoberclub.com /events, and you'll see the little link there, or you can pick up the link from the show notes for this podcast. There'll be a link there to grab your tickets. So getting quick. It'd be just fantastic to meet some of you there for that podcast recording and meet up at Club Soda, Tuesday, 18th of March. Well, I'm really pleased that my guest is one of my Sober Club members, Miranda Rowe, who posted such a lovely message on the group a while back. And I thought, I'm just going to have to share some of this with everybody. So welcome, Miranda.
You. Well,
thank you for joining us. And I forget now exactly what your message said, but I remember thinking, that just sums up some of the joys of how it feels, when you've ditched the booze. So we'll come to all the benefits, but first of all, just take us back a bit and tell us what life used to be like for you before.
Um, I suppose that I'm one of those people that have the grey area drinking.
Yeah, you were never at
I
rock bottom, but you were drinking more than you wanted to, right?
drinking more than I wanted to. I didn't drink during the day or anything, but I used to wait for that 7:30 in the evening kind of time. And that's what I'd look forward to. And I also don't think that actually alcohol agreed with me very well because I was always the first person to get tipsy, and all of that. So every morning I used to wake up and think, today I really don't want to drink anymore. I really don't want to drink anymore.
Mm.
Life would be so much better. And then by the evening,
Yeah, exactly like I was. I mean, it's funny, you mentioned it didn't really agree with you. It is quite bizarre, isn't it? Because if we have foods that don't agree with us, we never eat them again, do we? We go out of our way to like never touch it. But with alcohol, we make ourselves feel terrible and we go and do the same thing the next day. I know exactly what you mean. And I was exactly the same. I used to make that decision every day, but then by about 6 o'clock in the evening, it had all gone out the window.
yes, from 6 o'clock to 7:30, I was waiting for the 7:30 that I felt legitimately that I could pour a drink, really.
Mm. Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but your
yeah.
taste do change though, because I did do I was quite sober for a year once before, and I never really went back to wine. So I had lost the flavour for it, but then this time around I was on the gin and tonic instead.
Ah, interesting. That's interesting. So you stopped then for quite a long period of time. What led how did you stop in the first place? What led you to stop first, as it were? Because I think
Uh,
most of us have been around the block a few times, let's face it.
the same thing, just drinking a bit too much, saying things that perhaps I wouldn't really have, looking back, I wouldn't have liked to have said, and feeling just a little bit under par in the mornings
Mm,
so
mm.
often. But when I hadn't had a drink, feeling so much better, but still it's that why do you go back? Because you felt so much better when you didn't.
Yeah, yeah. And when you were drinking, was that mostly at home or was that sort of out with friends or what was your pattern?
I worked away from home quite a lot, and it was quite a sociable thing. So when we finished work, we did
Yeah,
used to have dinner and a drink, and I just, and sometimes it would get quite partyish.
yeah.
And yeah, I would have a drink in the evenings at home.
As well. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So you say you stopped for a year, but then you went back. Can you remember why you went back? It's always interesting, I think, when people stop for quite a long time and then they decide to kind of go back to drinking.
I think it was in that COVID time, and the weather was absolutely fantastic. And I was just hearing from so many friends that they were sitting outside in the garden having a gin and tonic. And it just pulled and pulled me. I don't
So
know.
interesting, isn't it? Because again, it's never about the actual alcohol, it's the associations, isn't it? Because if they'd
It's,
offered you a gin and tonic, in a broken plastic cup standing by a skip in the street, that wouldn't have been as attractive at all.
no, but then since getting to know you and stuff, I know I've learned about the amazing kind of what I call grown-up drinks that you can
Yeah,
have. So I can
exactly.
still make a beautiful drink now.
Exactly. Keep the ritual, change the ingredients.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Because we do seek pleasure as adults, don't we? And it's lovely to have a nice drink in the sunshine. That is how we're wired. It's absolutely true. It really is. But it's all those associations rather than the actual alcohol. It is fascinating. So you went back to drinking, gin and tonic this time. And then what happened the next time around when you stopped?
The next time around, it was just one of those, like, it just almost just clicked, and I think I'd drunk too much and I wasn't feeling great. I'd had a little bit of a run-in with a friend, and I just thought, this is it. I'd been looking at the sober club for a long, long time, and I just thought, okay, I'm going to join. I'm going to pay for a year up front. So I can't just think, oh, I'll do a month and then I can just leave because
Yeah.
I've not done it. So I paid for a year up front. And for some reason, it just all clicked. And I think it was just like, okay, I've made this commitment. I've got support. I can always go and look. And it just stuck this time.
It is amazing, isn't it, to have that connection because we really are like cheerleaders for each other in the group, aren't we? Whatever's going on.
Yes, we're definitely, and there's there's a lot of positivity. We all buoy up people that are having a wobble. And I have to say, I've obviously over the last year and a half had a few wobbles and gone into the group, even if I haven't actually said anything.
Mm,
I've
mm.
just gone back and looked at other people's posts and thought, oh, if they can do it, I can do it. And it's almost like I didn't want to let anybody down in the
Yeah,
group.
it's a bit like a layer of accountability, isn't it? It's true. People sometimes think, shall I, they're really at their wits' end, like, oh, I'm just going to have a drink. Oh God, then I'm going to have to post on the sober club. Maybe I won't. Yeah, there's a layer of accountability for sure. So so this time around, you're what is it, 500 and something days now? Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, fantastic. So tell us a few of the things that have changed for you for the better. Just share a few benefits because there could be people listening to this podcast for the very first time who are not yet aware of just how amazing life can be without alcohol.
Yeah, I think first of all, I'd just like to say that I think when I was going to give up and I was giving up, I thought, oh, well, I'll feel better and maybe have a bit more energy. But actually sitting down at 500 days and thinking, what has changed? It was
Mm,
actually quite a big list and I was quite surprised. So I think it's great that I wake up in the morning and I'm no longer the first thing that I think of is beating myself up because I've had a drink the night before.
yeah.
And
Isn't that
also,
amazing to wake up knowing just that sense of sort of almost authenticity, really, rather
yeah,
than waking up thinking, oh my God, what did I even do or say yesterday? It is amazing.
yes, and it's also like it almost felt like I just put my life on hold, and it was like, well, I've got to sort this out before I can do anything else.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
why.
yeah.
So it's great to wake up. I really enjoy the early mornings now and getting up, having a little t bit of time for me. Um, I started a new hobby. I never really really thought that I would do that. I just did something off the spur of the moment and
Wh-
it's absolutely grabbed me.
what is it? Can you share it with us?
Yeah, basket weaving.
Excellent. Love. I'm always saying we should, because we have more time, don't we? This is the thing. We have more time on our hands. I always say to people, anything linked to kind of singing, dancing, baking, crafting, basket weaving, all the ings, just not drinking. It's great. So that kind of, I suppose, keeps you really, it's really nicely focused because you can't be worrying too much when you've got your focus on basket weaving, I'm guessing.
No, no, you can't. And it's also a really great bunch of people that seem to be, because it's quite a natural craft. We're using natural ingredients and it seems
Mm,
to attract really lovely people. So it's another little tribe. They've never known me as
mm,
drinking or anything. We don't even discuss drink, you know. It's just,
mm.
we're just doing whatever. But
Great. So you're waking up, having a bit more clarity, a new hobby, which is fantastic.
um,
What else changed? Anything else?
yeah, I think I'm nicer to be around.
Yeah.
I'm calmer. When I wake up and I'm beating myself up, then I become grumpy and I'm lashing out at people, my nearest and dearest. Whereas now I don't really need to. But surprisingly, I think sometimes I used to blame mistakes that I made on having drunk. But actually, you still make mistakes, whether you drink or not.
Well, at least you can own them, can't you, when you're not drinking anymore? I mean, that's the thing. It doesn't turn us into perfect people, but I think it makes us more able to just own what's going on. We're not on the back foot all the while. I think, for me with certain relationships, um, I'm still going to have the odd argument. That's life, isn't it? I'm still going to kind of have a run in with my kids sometimes, but I no longer feel like I'm on the back foot, if you know what I mean. I used to have that awful sense of I was going to be caught out. I didn't even quite know why. It's a terrible feeling, particularly for parents. Terrible to feel
Yeah.
like that. But yeah, so that's interesting. So, and it's really interesting you say it makes you feel like you're a nicer person, because I really think sober people are so much more kind generally.
Yeah, yes, and also it's quite amazing that I went out for lunch. I think it was quite a while ago. My mum was still around, and my mum wasn't didn't she couldn't drink, and I wasn't drinking, and there was another couple of people, and my partner said afterwards, he said you two, and hadn't had a drink, were the life and soul of the
Yeah,
party.
yeah,
You were just
exactly.
screaming with laughter
Yeah,
and
yeah.
having a really good time.
Yeah, who needs alcohol to have fun? Absolutely. Amazing. And I think I saw on your post as well that you were doing yoga and stuff like that. Did I? Yeah.
Yes,
Did
yeah, I've
that?
started yoga again,
Yeah.
and like going to a sort of early morning class, whereas I would have, if I'd been drinking, I would have intended to go the night before, but I would have talked myself out of it.
Yeah.
Whereas now I go
Yeah.
and have a good time and start the day off really nicely.
Yeah. Amazing. Fantastic. So what would be your kind of tip for anyone then who's thinking about doing this but feeling a bit nervous? What would you recommend?
Well, obviously, I'd say just do it. And and if you feel that you can't do it on your own, get some support of
Yeah.
any kind of way. If you feel you need to chat to somebody about it, chat it through. Or else join the sober club. Obviously,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have joined a few. I had joined a few other groups, and they were lovely. And don't get me wrong, but for me, I like the sober club because it we go into nutrition, we do some meditations. There's all sorts of other really useful tips. I think I felt quite low at one point when I stopped drinking, but there's tips on how to get over that, and you feel normal because you can go through those things.
Yeah, totally.
But,
Yeah, I remember a post. I don't know if it was yours, but
yeah,
occasionally we do get posts where people say, I've quit and I'm a few weeks in, but why don't I feel better kind of thing. We quite often see that. And I think it is important to be realistic, isn't it? Because everything doesn't, it's not like a magic bullet where everything, you feel amazing straight away. Because if you've been drinking for years, it's bound to take some time, isn't it, for everything to recalibrate. But I think it's just about constantly focusing on the wins and keeping your eyes on the prize, and because over time, everything changes over time. Would you say, looking back, you are, you know, um, a more, well, what would be the word? I don't know, more balanced person? Would you say you've got that sense of balance now that you didn't have before, or would there be another word for you to describe yourself?
yeah, definitely more balanced, definitely happier, definitely making better life choices in a
Mm,
way, and the better food choices. So I'm a big I mean, it's crazy because I'm really into natural things and natural health, and here I was shoving the alcohol
yeah,
down.
me too. Me too.
And then, in the morning, then thinking, oh, I need, white bread, or, something, or some a cake or something. So I'm much happier that I kind of walk my talk a bit more, and
Yeah,
um
yeah.
and I don't put everything off until tomorrow. It was almost like I was just waiting. It was like I couldn't do things because I needed this big elephant in the room
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
clear it. But,
Absolutely. I had exactly the same. Exactly the same. And so how do you feel it's changed your relationships? Have any of your relationships changed? Because, something that worries a lot of people at the beginning is they're literally nervous about quitting alcohol because they're so fearful that there'll be friends that won't accept them, or that they won't be able to cope in certain situations. Was that ever difficult for you?
um, I had a couple of people saying, "Oh, you'll be really boring," and I thought, and yeah, so I kind of steered. I just backed off them for a bit, but my partner was actually delighted with the
Yeah.
change, absolutely
Yeah.
delighted. So, and now as time goes on, I it's quite strange. I now meet people that have never known me
Yeah,
having a drink, and I also think it's become much more acceptable. There's
yeah,
more choices, and I mean, I was gobsmacked the other day. I've got some friends who are big drinkers, and we don't tend to socialize with them in the evenings. They are big drinkers, but they now have some zero beer in the fridge, so that if one of them's driving, they
yeah.
can
Great.
still take part, and they're
Yeah, yeah.
like huge drinkers.
Yeah, that's fantastic, isn't it? I think
Yeah.
that's the thing, isn't it? We want it. I don't think we're kind of trying to preach prohibition. We just want it to be as normal to choose not to drink as to drink. If you want to drink, go ahead. But those of us who don't, we need lots of choices and not to feel like we're unusual, really. I suppose that's the thing, isn't it?
But yes, and don't you? I mean, I could be completely wrong here, but I think the younger generation are not drinkers, are they? So
Nowhere
it's
near the same
becoming,
extent. No, I think that there are some issues with binge drinking sometimes, but I think they've done studies, haven't they? And a lot of millennials drink a lot less than people our age did, and a lot of younger people again. They drink differently. I think they drink a lot less. They're much more aware of their mental health and well-being because years ago we didn't make the link at all. Well, in fact, you could argue we still don't really, not enough. But I think young people are aware of mental health and well-being, and they recognize that alcohol is just absolutely toxic, and why would you poison yourself really? Plus, it's stupidly expensive, and why would you do
yeah.
that? So yeah, I think it is great. Times are really changing. It definitely makes a difference.
Mm.
So thank you, Miranda. I really appreciate you sharing your little bit of your story with us. And just tell us one other thing. Just tell us because I know again there'll be people listening to this and they're brand new to it all. So what was something that you did find difficult to start with? Was there anything that was tricky? Were you nervous of your first holiday or was there anything that you kind of had to psych yourself up for a little bit?
It was the 7:30 time
Right. Okay.
in the
So a specific
evening.
time when the wine witch calls.
Yes,
Mm,
absolutely, because I think the habit was quite ingrained. So it's changing those neural pathways, isn't it? And trying to
exactly
do
that. So
something
that's where
different.
finding a new hobby was really supported you.
Yes. Yeah, and it is those associations with, what do you do when they bring the champagne out because it's somebody's getting married or there's a big celebration. And I kind of, I found the only way that I could deal with that was accept the glass, but just
Yeah,
quietly
not
put
drink
it
it. Yeah,
down
yeah,
somewhere.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, how unbelievably crazy is it that we think we can't celebrate without toxic liquid in our hand? It's
yeah, because if you
crazy.
were pregnant or something, nobody would think
Exactly.
twice.
Exactly. It is crazy. But as you say, things are changing. And certainly for the first few weeks, for me, I used to literally take my own little stash of alcohol free, whatever it was with me in case I got caught short in one of those situations. Not because really for my own kind of unconscious mind, because I just used to hate feeling deprived. And so that I didn't feel deprived, I just used to have my own little stash so that I
Yeah,
could kind of keep my inner toddler happy. Of course, I don't need that now, but back then, it was a kind of running battle with myself because I knew that if I felt deprived, I would just start drinking again. Which is why I constantly bang on about never use the phrase giving up because you're only gaining. You have to always focus on everything you're gaining, don't you?
yeah, because
So
some people are very purist and they say you know, when you give up, you shouldn't have the alcohol-free stuff, and it's absolute rubbish
Well, I,
because
I mean, I think some people have an issue with they don't want to have if they're big beer drinkers, they don't want a replacement beer or a replacement wine. And each their own. That's their choice. It's absolutely fine. But what I would say is, and I'm sure you would agree, that now there's such a massive choice of alcohol-free drinks generally. That doesn't mean they have to be a beer replacement or a wine replacement or a gin replacement. They might be an amazing artisan tonic or a fiery gimber or, shrubs, or there's all these incredible things now. The difference is that they're grown up drinks. They're not crappy soft drinks, full of absolute nonsense and cola and sugar and crap. They're grown up drinks. And actually, I really do think we need that ritual. I really do. I've had a lot of clients who just say, "Oh, I'm perfectly fine with a cup of tea." Well, not really. Not when, as you say, someone's getting married and suddenly the champagne comes out. Then the cup of tea suddenly feels like a deprivation. You know? And
Yeah,
that's where we need something, to help us feel grown up, don't we, really? A nice
yeah.
glass. Having a nice glass is always important.
Oh, yeah.
Having
Yeah.
your nice glass. Well, thank you, Miranda. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for being a member of our club and for everything you do, because for each member is really powerful in the sense that you'll pop in and support other people and say something nice, or maybe sometimes you just say, yeah, well, that happened to me too, and that's huge, actually, isn't it, for people when they're struggling, to know that someone else has been through it is really massive.
Yeah, it's just
um
full of just really, really lovely people.
yeah,
And
yeah.
they're all so inspiring, well, just in their general lives, just what they get up to.
Yeah, even though we're all very different, I think
Yeah.
it's really interesting when people have quit alcohol. It's such a massive thing that brings people together, even though you might not have anything else in common at all. That that shared experience is huge, because you know that from that place you're going to be much more open, compassionate, see things from a different perspective. It's really powerful. The world would be a much nicer place, wouldn't it, if everyone was sober?
Yeah, I have to say, when I very first gave up alcohol, and then I came across that you had given up alcohol, and it was just like, wow, because I've always followed your natural health stuff and everything like that. So it's like, oh wow. And it was very inspiring, I have to say.
Mm. Yeah, I
Really.
mean, it took a lot for me to actually come out originally, because of course I'd been writing all those books on holistic living for years, and literally that kind of queen of being imperfectly natural, but quite how imperfect I was soon to find out. But yeah, it is interesting. We have that kind of way of just switching. We sort of don't include alcohol because everyone does it. It's seen as an entirely normal, in inverted commas, vice to have. But the only people we're, you know, upsetting is ourselves, really. That's why it's so amazing when we get free, that sense of
Yeah.
freedom. Anyways, thank you, Miranda. I really appreciate you sharing your story, and thanks for being a member of the club. It's so appreciated. Thank you.
And thank you for inviting me. Thank you very much.
So just a reminder then, it's the final weekend before the price rises. So come and join us in the Sober Club. Literally, it is thesoberclub.com, and click on Tell Me More About the Club and join us before the price rises for new members. If you're already a member, it stays the same. But for new members, it's going up a little bit. Fantastic value, though I say so myself. Well, Miranda said it too, didn't she? So, so I really hope you'll join us. And please, please, please book your tickets, whether you're a member or not. Come to our live podcast recording Tuesday, 18th of March at Club Soda in London. If you go to thesoberclub.com, click on events, or just follow the show notes in this for this episode. And really look forward to seeing you. Just a final mention, I often say this at the end of the podcast, but if you don't want to do any of these things that I'm talking about, it's absolutely fine. But if you are in the early stages of quitting, don't do it completely alone. At least tell someone, at least just make it real. If it's just you and, and that little voice in your head, the voice in the head is going to win. Of course it is. You haven't gotten to forming the new neural pathways yet. And the second you start to feel even slightly off kilter, the wine which will say, oh, come on, don't be ridiculous, just have one. And it will kick off all over again immediately. But when you've told someone, there's just that extra add-on layer of accountability. That's why the Sober Club works so well, because I have had members who've said to me, actually it stopped me from reaching for that drink because I knew I'd have to write that bloody post the next day and I didn't want to do that. So reach out, tell someone. You can absolutely tell me. I will hold the vision for you. I will reply to your message if I get it. I promise you I'll reply. So at Janey Lee Grace, just follow me across social media, drop me a message, tell me you're doing this, reach out, tell someone. It makes it real. And of course, if you know that you're going to benefit from support, get some support. You know that I offer one-to-one coaching. I've got a few spaces in the calendar for one-to-one coaching clients. I would love to share stuff with you. It's not just the sober coaching, it's a whole bunch of other tools and techniques, because I'm trained in many different modalities. And of course, I train sober coaches. So there's a whole wealth of support available to you, whichever way you want to go with it. But the bottom line is, don't do this on your own. We need other people. We need connection. We need support. We need cheerleading. That's what we need. So make sure you get some, even if it's just dropping me a message. And if you're doing this, then give yourself a really big pat on the back. Just take care of yourself. It's so important. It really is. One of the things that we cover in constellations, and it came up a lot in last week's session, was this whole idea of, it's not about what happened to us. It's what we've made it mean. It's what we've made it mean. We've all had stuff in the past, but what have we made it mean? Have we made it mean, oh, I've got an addictive personality, I can never do this? Well, that's not true. That's actually not true. It's just a limiting belief. And we have to challenge those limiting beliefs and be willing to just, kind of step up, take responsibility now, and focus on what it is we want rather than what it is we don't. So you've heard me say this 1,000 times, but never use the phrase given up, because there is nothing to give up, only gain. I'll see you next week. Thank you for listening to the Alcohol Free Life podcast, brought to you by the Sober Club. Please rate and review. And if you want support, accountability and inspiration, and you want to live your best life without the booze, check out thesoberclub.com.